This story hasn't gotten anywhere near enough attention. Something extraordinary is happening here. And speaking of, in our first hour, we discussed how there's, the feds, those who prosecute crime get to choose what they're outraged about, right? Like they're really outraged about falsification of business records, but not so much when a Democrat commits a crime or, when Hillary Clinton violates the law. And that brings me to the latest. This is from the Washington Examiner. Okay, activists participated in a blockade at an abortion clinic in D.C. They described it as a rescue. They used chains, bike locks, and ropes to block the clinic entrance for more than 2 hours. And we've now seen tape, and it does appear that they did that. It was not like one of those things where they were on the outside of the building silently praying. They were inside the clinic and they were praying out loud. So this is definitely against the law. But the question is, what should be done about it? What is the penalty? And we're showing the video now. One of the activists, Paulette Harlow, was sentenced to 2 years in prison on Friday, which brought the combined sentences of the 10 defendants involved in this incident to 23 years. Paulette Harlow, 59 years old. 9 were found guilty in jury or bench trials of violating the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act and conspiracy to violate civil rights. A 10th defendant entered a guilty plea for one charge. So my question to you is whether the punishment fits the crime here, Mary, because they definitely violated the law. I don't think there's much question about that. But 2 years in prison for this woman who is 59 years old, does the punishment fit the crime?
Yeah, I saw another report that was suggesting she's in her 70s and her husband is worried about her dying during her prison sentence.
Well, here's what I'm convinced. I think this is an old article, but in any event, you're right. Because what I saw was she was 75 years old, that she is 75 years old. Her name is Paulette Harlow. So I'm not sure if my old article is wrong. And they say she's in poor health too, by the way.
It's just obviously completely gravely unjust. I don't think that even needs to be stated right now. But I just got reminded of this case in the UK where a woman was praying silently outside of an abortion clinic. And she wasn't even close by. It was on a nearby sidewalk.
She was across the street.
And she was arrested for that. Yeah, she was arrested for that. Now, ultimately, she found out that she wasn't going to be prosecuted. And she got an apology, which, thanks for that. Thanks for the apology. It matters. But obviously, that's not completely analogous to what happened here. But we should be expecting that for what's to come, because this is extremely punitive for no reason other than their political beliefs. And our right to political expression is vanishing. It is vaporizing in front of us.
You can go outside of Supreme Court justices' houses and terrorize them. You can terrorize them, which is unlawful. It's unquestionably a violation of the law, and that's fine. That will not be prosecuted, Alex. But if you go because of your sincerely held belief, and by the way, this clinic is the most controversial. For those of you out there who are pro-choice, are like, well, this is the most, in my opinion, disgusting kind of clinic there is doing these procedures. This guy, Dr. Cesar Santangelo, ran the clinic at the time. Live Action once recorded him during an undercover operation saying he would not help a baby in the rare event the baby was born alive during a late-term abortion procedure, which happened there. And there's more about him. So, I mean, I understand she was violating the law, but there was a reason that this older woman went in there and did what she did. And now at 75 years old, she's going into jail in poor health. And the husband cried to the judge saying, please, please, she's going to die in there. And the judge said, oh, well, maybe she'll just hope her way through it. Maybe she'll just be so hopeful about what happens on the back end that she'll live and come out and be free after 2 years.
Yeah, the judge actually laughed. The judge laughed when the husband was pleading for a lesser sentence due to age and health of his wife. anyone who is center right is under political persecution in this country right now. I mean, that is the moral of this story. One of these elderly women who's also involved in this story is now going to jail for several years. So she is who found what you're talking about with this abortion clinic. This is where the 5 late-term babies were found dead in buckets in D.C. One of these women found them. She is the reason that the public even knows about them. So everyone is upset. And the reason that these women are being treated the way that they were, or the way that they are, is because we were never supposed to know. The public was never supposed to know what was really going on in this clinic. And by the way, this isn't the only clinic in the United States where they're performing late-term abortions like this, although this is the type of stuff they don't want us to know. Basically, we are told that late-term abortion is a pro-life hoax, that we have made that up, that, that's insane. Nobody is aborting, babies born at 9 months or letting them die after they're born full term. And then you have the 75-year-old woman sentenced to 2 years in prison, her husband begging the judge to reduce the sentence because, like we said, she's probably going to die alone in there. The judge is laughing in response. They want to make an example out of all of these activists, the January 6ers, President Trump himself.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.